Right, obviously, great win for the program, but a great win for our seniors. You know, we really dedicated this game to them and everything that they've done for us as a program. You know, this was really the last class when we came here as a staff 3 seasons ago and took over and attempted to change a culture. These guys bought in, and a lot of them suffered learning new playbooks, a new culture. A lot of them, a majority of them, learning a new position. It wasn't easy. They had to earn everything that they achieved over the course of their 4 years here. So they are a wonderful, outstanding group of men. It's been a privilege to lead them over the last 3 seasons, and nothing could make me prouder than to finish the game like we did, get a win for them, and let them ring that victory bell one more time. As for the game itself, it couldn't have started better. You know, Bailey Gessinger did an outstanding job, as he has all year. A freshman who really has stepped up and made big play after big play in special teams, and today was no exception. And I felt that really set the tone, really got Jacksonville on their heels a little bit by taking that opening kickoff all the way for a touchdown. Energized our team as well, but I think we were pretty focused and fired up anyways going in, and then getting the big turnover. We talk about it all year long to win the turnover battle, to when you're playing a team like Jacksonville who's a little bit bigger, a little bit faster, a little bit stronger than you, to even the odds out, we need to win the turnover battle. We did that today. Did not turn the football over offensively. We made it through the entire season, 11 games. We only lost 1 fumble in 11 games, which is an outstanding, phenomenal statistic. Next year, the goal will be 0 fumbles in 11 games. But we did a great job of taking care of the football. We did a great job of forcing turnovers, and just like we have all year long, when the defense created a turnover, the offense was able to convert it into points. That was great to see, and I think that, you know, we wound up needing every single one of those points. So scoring 28 points in a quarter is quite a feat in itself as well. And so we did a great job. I give Jacksonville credit. A lot of teams maybe would have folded, but Jacksonville has been in shootouts before. They know the ebb and flow of games. They know what their offense is capable of in terms of producing points, and they did not quit. And they made us earn it, and we continue to play hard. Not always the most disciplined, which unfortunately, getting to the 4th quarter, that lack of discipline translated into a lot of penalties, 8 or possibly 9 penalties in a quarter. I've never been associated with a football team that's committed that many penalties. I will not argue. Most of them were very good calls by the officials. It was a very well officiated game. There were a couple of judgment calls, but a very large majority of the flags were well deserved. Unfortunately, when our offense was out there, they negated a 50-yard run. When the defense was out there, they negated a 4th down stop, and they certainly gave Jacksonville time and time again new life. And that's really uncommon for us. Again, going into the game, we were leading the PFL in terms of fewest penalty yards per game. So to get to the last quarter of the last game of the season and have a meltdown like that from a penalty standpoint is it's unacceptable. But the tenacity, the ability, it's so easy when you're a football team that's been through what our football team has this season with highs and lows. When bad calls or what you perceive as a bad call that negates a big run or negates a 4th down, it's really easy to go into panic mode. Our team did not do that. Okay? They were angry, yes. Were they frustrated? Yes. Did they let that affect their play? No. They kept their wits about them and were able to step up and make enough plays that needed to be made to win the football game. And that's the bottom line. Making enough plays to win the football game, earning the win, and that's what we did today.
Coach, can you elaborate the impact of the seniors that are the last of the previous staff, and can you also tell us how much you're looking forward to next season now that the entire roster will be recruits?
Well, first of all, we'd love a couple of them to come back. There's several of them that have eligibility. When you're at a place like Valpo, we understand there's no athletic scholarships here. There's nothing holding a player here except his love of the game and the brotherhood that comes with, sacrificing year-round in the weight room, on the football field, in the meeting room, with your brothers. And there are a couple of them that have eligibility, and we would love to have them all back. When you graduate this place, which most of our guys graduate in 4 years with good GPAs and outstanding job opportunities waiting for them, it's hard to turn that type of life away. And we understand that as coaches. That's one of the byproducts of being at Valpo. It's a wonderful university with a world-class education, and our players get that education and they come out of our program prepared to lead and excel in their whatever their major, whatever their field of study is. And so we'll miss a lot of those guys. Most of them will choose not to be back. JJ Nunez has petitioned. He's trying to come back. Jay Sloan is a guy who's thinking about coming back. Some really good football players who can extend the impact that they have had on this football program. So I'd like to lead off by saying that. It would be great to get as many of them back as we can. Their impact has been wonderful. They are, I say this time and time again because it's true. When you coach the type of student athletes that you have at Valpo, who are not here because they're on full athletic scholarship, who are here because they want a good education, they've got a good head on their shoulders, they're intelligent, they're mature, but they have a passion for playing football. You can't help but just love coaching those guys and just want so badly for them to win. Not for yourself, not selfishly, but for them. To have these seniors be able to ring that bell one more time, words can't explain what an incredible feeling as a coach to see them experience that type of joy and satisfaction and vindication for all the work that they put forth. So it's huge. It's the single best aspect of my job. Do I want to win football games? Absolutely. Championships, we're going to do that. But to have that experience day in and day out working with the type of individuals and watch them mature as they come from 18 to a 21 or 22-year-old man, that process itself is the true reward and the real reason why I'm the head coach.
Joey, when there's a kickoff return for a touchdown and you guys go back out on defense, are you playing with just a little bit more added confidence knowing you guys are up 7-0 right away?
Yes, sir. But we after that kick return happened, we had the momentum. So we know we had to come out there. We always come out with the mindset that it's 0-0, no matter what the score is, and we just had to come out there and fight it.
And Jimmy, for you to kind of, you got a 7-0 lead and the defense is already +1 in the turnover battle by the first time you take a snap. Just how much does that kind of give you a little bit more leeway to do some things out there?
Yeah, it definitely helps having the mouse in your corner, but even though that, we just got to keep pushing. There's never enough.
Jimmy, you had that health scare last week, and there was some uncertainty about your return coming back, and sure enough, the test results came back negative for anything, and sure enough, it looked like it didn't affect you. How does it feel to just brush that off and just continue playing the way you play?
It was good just to bounce back. I wasn't trying to think about that. I was just moving on to Jacksonville, kind of pushed that week aside, and there was a new goal, and here we are.
Coach, I'm going to ask you this question. I know it's probably not even fair, but you're 3-1 in games this year, and only which one quarterback plays, and the one loss was the Morehead State game, which could have gone really either way. Is there anything to that stat, or is that just a coincidence?
Well, concussions is the single biggest priority, reducing concussions. It's an interesting subject because, again, a combination of two things. How we diagnose a concussion, that's really changed over if you would go back 8 years ago to what's happened now, recognizing the protocols that are out there, the tests that our players have to go through. When we as a coach or an athletic trainer recognize someone who may be a bit woozy after a hit, that protocol has changed. So the number of concussions are up by a great deal. Most of that, but nobody's sure how much of that is because the protocol of the testing, we're just recognizing them more. My biggest concern is that we have the fewest amount possible. And we've met about this. We spent a lot of time talking about how do we minimize our concussions, both in practice and in games. So it is huge. It is one of the biggest things, and the proof is exactly what you just said. When our quarterback stays healthy and can play through a game, the odds of us winning are better. And that was the reason why, in many of these instances where two quarterbacks are playing, it comes down to a concussion, and it's not just at the quarterback position. It's at several different positions. Christian Campbell couldn't play a game this week because of a concussion. Jared Morgan missed last week because of a concussion. And it's, like I said, it's not a phenomenon that's only here at Valpo. It's something that has to be recognized, nationwide at all levels of college and high school football. But you are constantly looking for a way to keep your players safe, to minimize the concussions. You're never going to be able to eliminate them. It's going to be an inherent risk to the game. If we can get it to the point of where it's just one or two players a season that miss a game for a concussion versus one or two players each week that are missing a game due to a concussion. But we've got to get better at that. The helmet companies have to get better at that. The research has to get better. More studies have to be done if this game is going to survive the next 50 years or so.
One other perhaps unfair question. The last time Jacksonville was here was 6 years ago. No one on your sideline except for Merle was here.
Right.
They won 86-7.
Yeah.
They won 58-13 last year.
Right.
They have regularly had Valpo's number. Was 86-7 talked about at all at any point?
No. We talked, this was a different Jacksonville coaching staff. A lot of different players that weren't out there playing. There were a few that were. A lot of the upperclassmen spoke a lot about it. We did not address it much. We talked a little bit about it during the weeks in terms of being extra motivation, but really the week was centered around the seniors, and I don't know if really there was any more motivation required than just getting a win for some of these guys.
Frank, you had 4 carries for 114 yards. It's just under 30 a carry. Is this another day at the office, or what made today different than previous performances in the past for you on the ground?
Well, I really haven't been a running back for about 2 years. But other than that, really just the execution, and coach put me in a great position, and I just had to go out and execute it in the line. I don't gain a yard without them, and so what they were able to do, get a lot of push, open up a hole, I was able to hit it, and it was just like we practiced, and so the game went real well.
Joey, Jacksonville averaged, actually they tallied about 150 more yards of total offense than you guys. And as the officiating may have gotten more questionable throughout the game, how did you guys in the defense kept a short mindset towards the latter portions of the game?
Well, one thing we always do before we go out or after every play, we'll tell ourselves, all right, let's refocus. Hey, we got to do what we got to do. And we always preach and practice 3-second rule. Something happens, okay, think about it for 3 seconds, go back out there, and do your job even better than you did before.
Jimmy, what's maybe the one thing you've taken out of your freshman year?
It was great to get so much playing time as a freshman, and I know moving forward we have so much to build on as a team. Today was just all for the seniors. We harped on it all week. They deserve this, and I'm glad we were able to go out there and get them a victory.
Thank you, guys.
Frank, can you believe that next year's going to be your senior year? Can you even put it in words to describe what it's going to be like next year when it will be the final time to ring that bell?
No, I really can't. It's I just like sitting in Jimmy's shoes like 3 years ago. It's crazy to think that things like that go by so quickly. But I'm thankful for everything that I've had. I can't wait for next year. I think we're going to have something special, as you saw today, and I'm looking forward to it.
Coach, one last question. You have 2 very talented seniors in Connor Reddick and Brian Lane, retiring from the offensive line. You have a lot of key injuries at the front lines as well. How are you and Coach Dr. Lone attacking the many changes that are going to go for the Big Dogs next year?
Yeah, well, the first thing is we'll be in the weight room on Monday. We got to get bigger. We got to get stronger. We need to continue to do so. We played a lot of redshirt freshmen and sophomores that are on our offensive line. That is really exciting on paper. There were some outstanding performances. There's some very talented offensive linemen. But the bottom line is when you look at most of our losses this year, it starts with the offensive and defensive line. And that's a byproduct of just youth. You know, when you're a 23-year-old redshirt senior and you're going up against a 19 or 20-year-old, 3 extra years, in some cases 4 extra years in the weight room, that gives you that edge. And we have closed that gap. And we did a great job this year getting better, but we're still nowhere near as strong as we can be. So it's one thing to sit here and say on paper we have a lot of talent returning, but we have to develop that talent. You know, in terms of going out there in spring practices, you get 15 opportunities, and then the summer comes along, and the amount of effort that our guys need to put in terms of really dedicating themselves in the off season to strength and conditioning is going to determine, you know, how much success we have week 1 against Montana. You know, they may be preseason. They're certainly top 5, if not top 3 team, and that's our next football game. And if we want to compete, just to hang in there, just not to embarrass ourselves, we're going to have to get better up front on both sides. So it starts Monday. We're going to enjoy the heck out of this one here for the next 48 hours, and at 8 a.m. Monday morning, we're going to be back out there in the weight room in Kroenke getting after it. If our players can stay motivated and put in the effort, the work, the hours needed to take that next step, it'll make it a lot easier for us to compete for a championship next year.
What was the biggest takeaway for you this year?
Yeah, I think it was just great to see just the interaction with everybody. I think this team was very close. I think we went through growing pains. We had our ups and our downs, our share of adversity. But to see how this football team handled it, I take a lot of pride in seeing how these guys matured through the course of the season.